Check, 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 testing, check. Check, 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 testing, check. Check, 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 testing, check. 1, 2. Check, 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 testing, check. Check, 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 testing, check. Bet. We're back. I'm back. What is good, everybody? Hope you, your family, friends, and loved ones are doing well. Today, on this final Thursday of January 2026, we are back. Woo! I kind of had a feeling that was coming, but wasn't really sure. Oh, man. My apologies. But we're back with another live stream here to talk about the NBA, my favorite sport out of any sport, which is basketball. So let's hope for the best for tonight. Still a little bit of a down tick last night from a lot of the picks that I put in from last night. Did cash? Let me just double check. Excuse me. Did cash on? It was like a couple. Let me just look at this here. Excuse me. So I cashed on one of my main picks. Technically went 2-0, right? For my main picks. 1-0 per the video that I uploaded from yesterday. And that was the Bulls Pacers. I took the Pacers and the Pacers under their team total points 118, and the Pacers finished with one. Just look at this here. Pacers finished with 113, and they won. They came back. Chicago was up. Chicago was winning. Looked like they were going to cover the 1.5 spread, and the Pacers won. Could not believe it. I was too busy worried about overtime. But yeah, what do with that what you will. But yeah, it looked like it possibly would have been over OT, but it didn't, and the Pacers pulled out the win. They won at home. So congratulations if you took the Pacers on the money line. If you took them on the spread, they covered. They won. Yeah, but even the under hit. But most of the unders hit once again for the third straight game. I'll talk about that in a second. It was third straight day. The Timberwolves, the Mavericks under 231.5, where the line actually moved down to 228.5 eventually before the game started, maybe 227.5, and that did indeed cover. Timberwolves won. They won 118 to 105. So yeah, there's that. I took during the live stream. I took the Mavericks to cover the plus 8.5 because the line changed when it was 7.5 when I was going to put it in. Later I was live and I clicked on it for them to cover the set plus 7.5, and it changed to 8.5. So that did not cash. What can you do? Timberwolves cover. So there's that, and everything else pretty much folded if I remember correctly. Let me just double check here. Forgot to do that. Bazula, his rebounds at 6 plus value plus 132 on FanDuel. That cash should have laddered him up to because I had him down for 10 because he had back-to-back games against Indiana for 10. He had 10 in one game or 11 in one game, 12 in the other. I was like, maybe he gets 10 again for a third straight matchup. He finished with 8, so I should have laddered him up one or two more times for extra money in my pocket. He at least finished with 8. So there's that. I had a Kevin Huter, Manuel Quickly, Andrew Wiggins parlay for their over PRA, RA, and PR that didn't hit. Huter was the only one that got. Excuse me. Wiggins was the only one that showed up. He got his 20. So there's that. Did the hold on, let me double check. Maybe it did. Let me see. 219. Did the Knicks Raptors game go under? It did. I got another win. I didn't realize that. So I had another win. So that's 3 wins to last night. I forgot I put that in. That cash. So I'll take that win. But outside of that, everything else folded. So tonight, gonna hope for the best. Try not to stress, right? Let's see what we can possibly figure out, cash on and everything like that. Let's dive into it. Let's get it. Join us once again, as I always say. I'm gonna join us over on WAP. Join us. There it is. Boom. Join us over on WAP.com at Top Sports Debate. This is where me and the crew that I'm with, this is my section where I do my live streams for the community parlays every single day for the NBA. Day one for tonight. The hope is that the community parlay that I did post in our Discord here, this is the community parlay for tonight. We're fading players to go under their assists. VJ, the rookie, to go under 5 assists. Dylan Brooks to go under 3 assists. And then Chet Holmgren to go under 3 assists. I was on Outlier. I was looking at some stuff. And it was like all unders. I decided, well, maybe we fade. You know what I mean? Because the unders have been hitting. So one thing that I've been mentioning, one thing I've been talking about, talking to the crew, talking to other people in another Discord that I'm in and I'm a capper in, is that the unders have been hitting at a high rate in the month of January. I'm bringing this up again for the 3rd straight night. The unders, there were 9 games last night. The unders went 7 out of 9, 7-2. So if you round robin last night, if you round robin the night before, where there were 7 games and the unders hit 6-1, and then if you round robin the night prior to that, 3 days ago, those 7 games went 5-2. So if you round robin all those days, if you just took the wins and you piled them on top of each other, you would be up because the unders are hitting at a high rate. I'm sharing this information with you all. You're hearing how teams are going under more than over overall in their spots, whether at home or on the road. You know what I mean? This stuff is cashing. It happened again last night. Take the unders. We have tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday. That's it. Then we're walking into February. Maybe this stuff rolls over into February. We'll see. But January unders are hitting. Take the under in these games. Take them. Because you're seeing these low spots. Look at this 222. It might go under the 223, right? It just might go under 223 tonight. It might for the Bucks Wizards game. It might go under this 210 tonight between the Nets and the Nuggets. It just might. I'm fading the Nuggets on their team total points tonight. This is one of my main picks. Let me show you on my Discord. This is my first main pick. Denver to go under their team total points. Got it at a minus 102. It's shifted to a minus 125. Here's why. Let me show you. They've been going under 5 straight games to their team total points. I put the video out this morning about me taking them at 110, but the line wasn't, the actual prop wasn't set up yet because it was last night at 9 p.m. when I put the video together to talk about this. But this is what they're doing with the under. They are 7-3 in the last 10. They're averaging 107 in the last 10. In the last 5, they're averaging 102. 5 straight to the under. Excuse me. Right? But head-to-head against the Brooklyn Nets, they're actually 3-0 to the over, and they're 1-0 on the season, beginning of the month, where they scored 115 points at Brooklyn. But I want to say that was the game that Joker still was in. He was not injured at the time. Yes, Brooklyn's allowing 115 currently. Yes, in the last, I want to say 7 games on the road, they're only 2-5 to holding a team from scoring 109 points in these last several games. Again, the last 7 games on the road in this specific list here, that they've only had 2 teams where they could not or did not or shut down them from scoring the 107. But again, Denver, they are down. They just announced Gordon maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes ago that he's officially out 4 to 6 weeks per his hamstring. So he's officially donezo for technically the last couple of days of this month and next month. So he's not going to be back until maybe second week of I'm gonna guess and say second week of February of March, maybe late week of March. So there's that information. Braun's not in, Johnson's not in, Joker again, he's not gonna be back for a while. And then you just got Murray and Valanciunas. They just officially made them probable today. And then you got whatever the Nets are working with. So I personally believe that this is gonna go under here for the team total. And I still kind of personally believe that the 209, 210 probably just might go under. Just depends on what Brooklyn's going to do because Porter's back, but Clowney's not in. Denman is out now. Cam is out. So there's that. That's why I'm saying like the under is probably possibly going to cash tonight for this specific game. So I would say just take the under. There's EV to the under as well, even though the books don't really know what's going to happen in this game. My next main pick for tonight. Excuse me, clearing my throat. I just ate dinner. Detroit Pistons to cover the first half spread at a -2.5. This is what I saw. Personally, this is really what it is right here. Is this spot right here. Look what Detroit's doing. They have won out of the last 45 games. They are 33-11-1 in the first half, while the Phoenix Suns still positive for them. They're 27-19-1 in the first half. That's that information when it's pertaining to the first half. This is where I got it, -105. Again, I grabbed this early in the morning at a -108 at like 5 a.m. when I put this in, 5:15, something like that. So Detroit in the last 10, they're 70%. Same thing with Phoenix. Detroit, though, on the road, though, in these last 20 games, they're actually 5-4 to covering the first half, while Phoenix at home, they are, I believe they're 5-2 at home in their last 7 games specifically. So they're actually more of on the positive side. But Devin Booker's not playing. Jalen Green's not playing. Detroit, the only person that's out is Caris LeVert. They're pretty much fully, pretty much at a full health basically for the squad. So I just kind of personally believe that Detroit will possibly cover and go 6-4 in these last now 10 games. So we'll see to cover the first half spread. So that's all that information. But let's stop my rambling. Let's talk about these games. Let's see if we can find anything extra. Also, too, forgot to mention this too. I decided to do a round robin. Excuse me. So I decided to do a round robin, 10 points. I usually do a 4-leg. That's usually my max. I really don't like doing these slips, but because again, you're wanting and needing more to happen. Excuse me. I really apologize. I just got done eating dinner like 10 minutes ago. So, but I still kind of feel like deciding to say, you know what, I'm gonna just do extra 3 legs to this slip instead of doing my normal 4, putting $20 down to get back $100 or whatever. I said, let me add 3 extra players. Every player on this list, they normally average either just above 10 points or well above, like they're averaging closer to 15, right? They usually just go out there. They usually sometimes get 10 points in the first half, sometimes first quarter and a half, sometimes even the first quarter, right? So the only real spot that I can say, just 2 players specifically that I feel like may not get the 10 tonight, that may hook me. That's why I round robin it, right? It is Koulibaly, because I relied on him, I think yesterday, the day before. He did come through for me, but the rest of the slip did not. And Diabate, because he's sometimey with his points. Everybody else, I trust Tim Hardaway Jr., I trust Robinson, I trust Nas, I definitely trust Kelly Oubre. Feel like he can get 15 tonight, even with Embiid and Paul George on the court. So he's pretty much going to be, I think he's coming off the bench. I think he might be starting. But I round robin this slip. Basically put $36 and some change on here. And also, too, kind of explained the round robin as well. I just put 50 cents in these bottom 3 boxes. I added basically almost 10 cents to the other 2. It added up to 36 and some change. And the get back here is basically the 225 in total, plus the change, plus 75 cents in total to get that back if this full list, all 7 get the 10 points. So yeah, I've hit on 4 of the last 7 slips, cashing for, basically like hundreds of dollars, right? So I decided to go with a round robin with a 7 leg. So this was literally like this is like my major slip tonight. So we'll see. And also I'm taking Embiid for 28 points tonight. I'll show you that too real quick since we're on the game. This is what Embiid's doing. This is my first time betting on Embiid for the season. This is what he's been doing. Look at this. Look at what he's doing at home specifically. He's at home. He's playing against the Sacramento Kings. This is what he's doing, right? He has no head-to-head against them, but I'll give you some information on what he's doing against them. But in the last 5, he's 5-0. He's literally averaging almost 33 points, specifically at home. But again, as far as the teams down, the players down here, some of them are starters, some of them are not. They are not coming close to the 28 that I took him at. But it's Embiid. He's actually balling out. Per the position, they allow 24 to the position. Here's the actual truth in the data in the matter for Embiid. So Embiid specifically, just per game, he's averaging 25 on the season, right? But this is what he's doing against the Kings all time. He's averaging 27.8, right? And then let's say on Thursdays, this is what he's doing. Well, actually, no, I apologize. Let's go Kings at home. This is what Embiid is doing at home against the Kings. Oh, I apologize. No, that's not it. I apologize. So it's more so at home. This is what he's averaging. 26, just shy of 27. And on Thursdays, he is averaging, again, this is StatMuse. On Thursdays, he's averaging 26. So he's still around. He's close to the 28. So I feel like this specifically because this is the day that he's playing. Let's see if they have any information at home. So at home, he's averaging still 26, just 26.3, just a little higher. So again, he's just a bucket off. This is what I need from Embiid tonight. I need him to score 28 tonight. This is my first time betting on him this year. I'm taking him because he's been hot. I had to wait for him to get here because he was doing this here, right? And this on the back end of the last 20. So he's actually decided to actually ball. Once he started doing this, it was like, all right, now I can look his way. And he's playing against the team that's been shutting down bigs. They're only allowing 24. So I'm taking the risk. If you feel like Embiid, if you feel like you can trust him tonight to get, say, 29, take him as plus 115. If you feel like you can trust him to get 30, take him for the plus 150. Plus 150s do cash. Don't stray away from the plus value. Do not. You can chase the minus 105s. There's a reason why I love chasing minus 105s, because there's more of a push for these lines to hit more, giving you the game, right? These lines are to hit more versus when it's pertaining to going against a specific number. So it's going against the minus 125. You want to take Embiid to get the 28 because he's possibly more than likely going to get the 28. But again, it's sports. There's no guarantee that he's going to get the 28 tonight. It's just that there is a strong possibility that he will. That's why it's a minus 105 versus the actual number, which is the minus 125. So we'll see. Again, I'm showing you the data. On Thursday, he averages 26. But against showing you again, against the Kings, all time, he's averaging 28. And then there was something else. Because there was something I said he was averaging 30. I just can't remember what the prompt was that I put in here. This was like an hour ago. Maybe it was at home. 26. It was a prompt. It was something that I typed in and he was averaging 30. I literally just went over this over here in this live stream. I did it here specifically. I just can't remember what that prompt was. Here, let me play it. Let me see if I can find. I'm going to try to see if I can find this. Let's see. Let's see. So I'm talking about Embiid. Let me see here. It's the community parlay that I was talking about. I was kind of rambling a little bit about my love for the game and stuff. Let me see. Y'all are kind of like seeing me during my work spot here. Let me see if I can find this. Because like I said, I pulled it up on StatMe's. I just can't remember where I said and pulled up the prompt. I apologize for kind of like sidetracking the stream real quick. I'm trying to find it. Because again, maybe. Not seeing it. It's in here. I gotta find it. If you want, maybe I'll post this on Twitter. But as you see, you're seeing, like I said, you're seeing me talk about Embiid here, and even like VJ and all of that. So I'm just trying to see if I can find the chat. Anthony Edwards. That's what I was talking about with Anthony. I was talking about him getting his assist tonight because he just might get he might get 4 assists tonight because he specifically is averaging. This is what he's averaging against my Thunder. Look at this. Look at that. This is what I'm talking about. He's averaging 5 against us, right? And this is what he does. And more specifically, at home, he is 1, 2, 3, 4. He's 4-1 against my Thunder, averaging, you know what I mean, this spot here more specifically. So that's why I was like, maybe you take Embiid. I mean, maybe you take what you call it? Okay, here's Embiid. Maybe you take Anthony Edwards for his assist. I'm trying to see if I can find that prompt. Like I said, I apologize. I'm kind of very left a little bit per the stream here because I thought he just talked about Embiid, and I can't see. I'm like being a stickler about just this little sidebar for the prompt, so I can't seem to find it. It's not that big of a deal. But again, I know for sure. I remember typing this in, and it popped up 30 points specifically. So it is what it is. But that's pretty much that. That's enough of my rambling. Let's get. Okay. So, Moneyballer. This is where I use the data here. Let's get it. Phoenix. Philly. They won. They covered their last matchup. It was against the Milwaukee Bucks. They won in Philly fashion, 139 to 122. Sacramento, per the spread, is again, it's 10.5. I think it was 10 or something like that, maybe 9.5 earlier in the day. So I think it went up. Okay, it actually opened up at 11.5 last night. So it actually dipped down 1. And actually it was 12 here at an even 12. Did it do anything else? Oh man, it was at a plus money for 11.5. Little over an hour ago. I'm upset. I would have probably taken Sacramento to cover tonight for 11.5. Grr, maybe I could still do that. Can I get I can get a let me see. I can't. It won't let me. It will give me a plus 100 for them to cover plus 10.5. So Philly, they have not really. Excuse me. They're 4-6, right? In the last 10 ATS, and then they're 2-8 to covering a minus 10.5. Sacramento, they are 5-5, but they're technically in the last 5. They're actually 1-4. But when it's pertaining to them, and that's the thing, they're not even covering the plus 5.5. I mean plus 10.5. but in the last 10, they're technically 6-4 to actually covering the actual number. So they're just coming off of that loss. They didn't score 100 points. They didn't even score 90 against New York. I really thought that they were going to score 106, but it was such a low spot. That's why I mentioned that the under is hitting, it's cashing, right? So once again, the under definitely did it again, right? For even just for this game specifically. So when you're looking at this stuff, you want to make sure you're just in the right spot, right? So do you consider taking Sacramento to cover a 10.5 versus Philly, who hasn't covered either? Again, they did cover last 2 nights ago, but again, Sacramento for the most part, let's look at them. Let's see, the last 3 games, they're 1-2 on the road in these last 10, but let's look at them in the last several games on the road. So they are 0-2, 0-3, 0-4 actually. So they're not looking good. They're actually 1-6 to covering a plus 10.5, right? Philly, let's look at them at home. 0-2, 1-3, 2-3, 2-4, 2-5, 2-6, 2-7, 2-8, 2-9, 3-9 to covering a minus 10.5. Head to head, they're 1-1 against each other. This was last year. Both times were in the month of January. In their first matchup, the Sacramento covered in the first matchup, and then the second matchup, Philly covered. So there's that information. Do with this information what you will. But let's dive into the actual spread look. So 76ers are 26-19-1 to cover the spread on the season, but at home they're 12-14. But they are as favorites though 16-9, so it's a positive spot for them. But as home favorites, they're actually 7-7. They're even, right? So there's that. Kings not looking any better, 18-30 to cover in the spread. On the road, they're 8-15. As underdogs, they're 16-28, and as away underdogs, they're 8-15 specifically. So, what do you really consider doing with this spread, right? Let's dive a little bit deeper right here, just in the last 14 games, specifically when it's pertaining to the spread. And maybe you consider possibly taking the 76ers to cover, but we'll dive into something extra in a second. So in the last 14 games, Philly are 5-3 in the last 8 as favorites. They are at home 4-5 though, in these last 14 games, and at even 7-7 to covering in the last 14. But they're 3-2 at home as favorites in these last 14 games. Wow. The Kings in the last 14 games, they're 6-8, 1-4 on the road, 5-8 as dogs, and then as away dogs also 1-4, just like they are on the road. So all those road games, they were underdogs. They have not been able to cover, right? So there's that information. But now let's dive into the actual matchup. There were 3 games specifically at Philly that the 76ers hosted the Kings. These were in the last 2 seasons, technically last year and the year prior. So on December 13th of 2022, 76ers won 123-103. So they covered the minus 10.5. On January 12th of 2024, last year, the 76ers won 112-93. And then the 76ers on January 29th, technically a year ago to the day, 76ers won 117-104. They covered the minus 10.5 there. So they've covered, not only did they win straight up, they covered the minus 10.5 for tonight. They covered the spreads that were currently in those three matchups. They scored 110 points or higher in all 3 games. They held Sacramento under. What is their team total points? Let's look at it. They held Sacramento under. If you decided to fade Sacramento on their team total points tonight, it's a plus 105, right? But if you decided to go with the minus 110 here, they held the Kings under the 110 all three times. The Kings scored 103, 93, and 104 all three times. So, what do you really decide to do here specifically? This is the question. Now, it does say here that they did match up against each other on the first here specifically, but again, we're focusing on Philly at home against them. So they actually held the Kings under their team total points at home. Philly, they allow 116 points on the season. If you do decide to fade Sacramento due to this information, Philly at home, this is what they're doing. Just in general in these last many games. If you decide to fade the Kings on the team total points, they are at home, Philly, 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, 0-4, 1-4, 1-5, 1-6, 1-7, 1-8. So in the last 9 home games, Philly has allowed 8 teams to score above the 110. Maybe you do take Sacramento to bounce back from what they did here and actually score above 100 points and actually score the 110. Me personally, I would say either take the Kings to cover the 110, take the chance that they don't hold them like they did here in these last 3 matchups, more recently from last year, and also you possibly still take Philly to cover the minus 10.5. Why? Because they are currently 3-0 against the Kings at home. Maybe they still win by 20 points tonight, but Sacramento still scores the 110. So this is the information. That's that spot. There now when it's pertaining to the over under, this is what it says, because there's EV to the over. It's 230 right now. And technically, when it's pertaining to the 230, all the games went under in their matchup. So maybe this was at Philly again. There's just certain things in this matchup. There's history here where a lot of stuff is pinpointing to going a different route. But again, Philly this year is different than Philly last year, right? So this is the over-under record at home, on the road for Philly and the Kings. This is what it says on Moneyballer. The Philadelphia 76ers are, what is their record here? So they are 24-21 and 1 overall. At home, they're 14-11 and 1. So the over is actually corresponding to on that side. But as favorites, they're 12-12 and 1, so they're even. But they're a little bit above 500 to the over as home favorites, 7-6 and 1. The Sacramento Kings, when it's pertaining to their over-under record overall, they're 23-25. A little bit of a uptick for their over on the road, 12-11. But as underdogs, they're 20-24. But as away underdogs, they're 12-11. So, do you consider possibly taking the over? Right? Do you really consider possibly taking this over? Again, look at the data. Listen to what I'm saying. 3 matchups. Philly blew them out technically all 3 times. The under hit all 3 times. There's EV to the over. Philly currently is allowing so many points to the team. I mean, against them, not playing really good defense, right? Even more so at home. Maybe you still take the over while taking Philly for the minus 10.5 because at least they've been covering against Sacramento. But then maybe this is the game where Sacramento actually scores above 105 because they haven't done it in their 3 matchups here. So do with this information what you will. I have my pick. It's pretty much for Embiid. So I just feel like just do with the information what you will. Either take Philly for the spread, take the total over maybe, unless you feel like it's going to go under, and maybe take Sacramento if you feel like they're actually going to cover for the first time in their 4th matchup here at Philly. So there's that information. The Milwaukee, Washington. Going to try to be a little bit quicker today. I'm already, how many minutes am I in now currently? I'm half hour in. Let's try to speed up here. So Milwaukee and Wizards. Spread is 2.5. The over-under total is 221.5. Like I mentioned earlier, like the unders have been hitting like higher. Maybe this goes under. Let's look at the data here. So Wizards are 19-26 to covering overall, but at home they're 10-12. The Wizards as underdogs, they're 18-24, and as home dogs they're 9-10. So they're really not covering that much at all on their end. But neither are the Milwaukee Bucks. They are 19-27 currently. They're 11-13 on the road. As favorites, they're 7-14. And as away favorites, they are 3-6. It does sound like the Wizards possibly has more of the advantage on their end when it's pertaining to the record, their home record as dogs, stuff like that. Sounds like just a little bit more of a favorite to them covering tonight. But the books currently believe that they're going to cover. Possibly. The other reason why is because Giannis finally said he wants out. I thought he was going to stick around and stay. Personally, kind of thought he was going to retire a Milwaukee Buck. Personally, but he's allowed to change his mind. He went on record saying that he wanted to stay. Blah blah blah. But he's allowed to change his mind. He's a grown adult. Do what he wants. Even if I disagree, it's okay. Me personally, I don't want him to go to a high market team. All of that cheese. I want him to go to a market where he did what he did here with Milwaukee, build them up. I want him to go to, go to Washington. There was a slight possibility he may go to Minnesota. I'll take him going to Minnesota type of stuff, So somewhere that nobody would think he would go to. I don't want him to go to the Lakers. I don't want him to go to Boston, Warriors. I'll possibly take him to go to New York, but really don't even really want him to go there for real. Just being honest, I want him to go somewhere that hasn't won a team that hasn't won a championship in like 20-30 years, because I just talked about this on my live stream over on the WAP at Top Sports Debate. Like, dog, like he needs to go to a space where the city, I feel like, deserves to have a superstar that nobody would feel like he would go to, like even like Utah or something. Like, send him somewhere where he can build the team up, even at his pretty much at his prime, right? But Milwaukee, they did announce Gary Harris. Got the notification on my phone that he was out. Porter's still out. Prince is still out. For Washington, Bagley's still out. And then Trae Young, he's probably not. I don't think he's going to play at all this year. Just being honest, but we'll see. He might, but I don't think he's going to play this year at all. So I kind of feel like the under may hit, but we'll see. When it's pertaining to the total over under, this is what it says. The Wizards are 20-22. They are 22-23 overall, but they're an even 11-11 when it's pertaining to the over-under. They're 20-22 as underdogs, and then 9-10 as home dogs. So the under is more of a push, right? Currently, just a little bit. For the Milwaukee Bucks, they are 18-28, 8-16 on the road, 8-13 as favorites, and then as away favorites in the last 9. And in the last 9 games, they're 3-6. The under seems to be more of the prevalent thing. That's why I say go ahead and take the under, being honest. But let's look at the last 5 matchups when it's pertaining to the Wizards hosting the Milwaukee Bucks. Technically, 4 of the last 5 games went over the 223. Let's see. So, April 4th of 2023, the Wizards won Bucks won 140 to 128, so they overhit. November 20th of 2023, the Bucks won again, 142 to 129. And then on April 2nd of 2024, the Wizards won 117 to 113. Again, the overhit. And then on February 21st of last year, 2025, the Bucks won 104 to 101. And then on December 1st of 2025, again last year, the Wizards won 129 to 106. The overs have hit in most of these matchups. But again, per what both teams have currently on, as far as their teams, a lot of injuries, this still may possibly go under. If you feel like per the matchup that it may go over, take the over. Just being honest. Again, there might be still a slight lean more so to possibly the Wizards possibly still covering tonight. Maybe it's a close game. But again, Milwaukee doesn't really have an offense, but Washington doesn't have a defense. So that's what I'm saying. If you, again, per what I just said here, the overs hit for the last 5 matchups. Most of the time it's going over. This still is a low spot, but it is what it is. Do with that information what you will. I personally just believe that I'm just staying off the game, just being honest. If anything, here's what I will say. If anything, because I did mention this in last night's stream, maybe take Trey Johnson for his assist. Here's why. Look at what he's been doing in the last 10 games. They have it low at 3 currently. If anything, maybe take Trey Jones for a live bet at 4. Here is why. I'm going to keep bringing this up. So on January 16th, a little over a week ago, his live for 4 assists when he had 0 in the beginning of the first quarter, it was a plus 490. I was falling asleep and I missed it. And when I woke up the next day, he had 4, right? 2 games later, excuse me. His live slip here, first quarter, he had no assists. He was sitting at a plus 360. I was dozing off again. Both times I said I was going to put this in, I was dozing off. Fell asleep on both sides, both times, and he had 5. So I missed out. And then, again, 2 games later, he finished with 6, and I wasn't even looking his way. So I looked his way on the 27th, 2 days ago. I put him down on the slip for 4. I think I still have it up on my, let me see. I think I still have it here on my my Discord here. Let me see. It was a live bet. Here it is. I put him down. I threw $5 on it to get back 23 and some change, 23.50. It was a live bet. He had no assists here. And as you see, he finished with 2. He was 2 away. So maybe he bounces back and he gets 3 or higher tonight. Let's look at it and see. He's averaging 2 against the squad, but this was he was well this was last year, so he's actually 0-2 on the season. Maybe he gets the 3, maybe he gets the 4 tonight, but I would say just live bet him. So I just wanted to do that, share that quick sidebar for that information there. Let's move on. Houston, Atlanta. Houston just they just came off of that L, right? Did they? Yeah, they couldn't even score 100 points. San Antonio last night, I had them going under their team total points and they scored 111. So congratulations to them on getting the win and covering. So the spread is 5.5. The total is 222.5. Same thing, just like last game. Do you consider taking the under in this game? Let's look at the data, right? The Hawks, when it's pertaining to the spread, they are 25-24, so just above 500. But at home, they're 9-13. As underdogs, though, they're 17-10 to covering, right? And then as home dogs, they're 7-4. So it's a positive, right? So you maybe possibly want to consider taking them to cover automatically, right? Plus, on top of that, last 5 games are 5-0 to covering the plus 5.5. So there's that. Rockets, when it's pertaining to the spread, to covering 21-24. Just above 500 on the road, 13-12. But as favorites, they're 18-23. And as away favorites, they're 10-12. So there's that information. Do you consider taking them to cover? Let's look at the last 14 games. This is what it says when it's pertaining to covering the spread. The Hawks are 8-6 in the last 14 games to covering. At home, in the last 5 home games, they're 3-2. And as underdogs, they're 5-4. Again, this is all in the last 14 games. But as home dogs, 2 of those home games, they're 1-1. Even. Rockets, totally on the opposite side. Last 14 games covering the spread, they're 3-11. On the road, they're 1-5. As favorites, they're 2-10. And as away favorites, they're 0-5. There's that information. Guess what I'm about to do? I'm about to take Atlanta to cover the spread. I'm just going to do this because the data just seems to be just right where it needs to be. Now, before I put this in, let me just show you real quick. They had 2 recent matchups. This was last year. and technically the year prior. So they played in 2 spots. So they're technically 1-1 against each other, right? But Atlanta has their number when it's pertaining to the spread. Listen to this. February 10th of 2024, from technically the season prior, well, technically 2 seasons ago, the Hawks won 122 to 113. So the over hit, and they covered a plus 5.5 on whatever the spread was for this one. So it was a -9. And then on January 28th of 2025, from last year, again, this is at Atlanta, Rockets won 100 to 96, but they did not cover a plus 5.5. But they did cover the Hawks covered the plus 5 here. So Hawks covered both spreads in both matchups, but they're 1-1 against each other when it's pertaining to winning and losing. So I'm going to go on ahead and just take Atlanta to cover this plus 5.5 right now, because I really do kind of feel like, because Atlanta at least got their number on the spread here. Let me see where it opened. Did it open up higher or was it lower? Let me see where the number. Let me see. It was actually 4.5. It actually changed to 6.5. So I'm actually kind of upset that I missed out on the 6.5. So it went up at 4.5, changed to 4, went down to 3.5, right? So 4.5. So I missed out on the 6.5 somewhere. Could have sworn I saw a 6.5. Maybe I was tripping. Maybe. Actually, no. It was today. It was here, 5:05 p.m. It dipped up to a 6.5, and it switched just as fast, probably within 30 seconds. That's wild. Look how wild that is. It went from a 6.5 to a 5.5, all within 60 seconds, all within a minute. That is so wild. All within that same minute, 5:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it switched from a 6.5 to a 5.5 that fast. Let's see. So Daniels is in. So Jalen Johnson is officially out. I think that is going to play the key role. Now, let me see. Hold on. Okay, Sengun's been questionable as of 6 hours ago. Let me consider. Let me see. Dang it. See, Johnson's not in. They need him. Okongu's out too. Mother. I was going to take them for the 5.5. I don't think I want to do this now. The only thing I can consider, that's why it switched to a 222 and it was higher at 225. Actually, technically it was 225 when it opened up, and then it changed to 227, 226.5. So it actually dipped down to 223. I missed out on a great spot to take it under 226, 225. Like I said, I felt like I could take that plus 5.5. But now I don't know. I don't trust it, because if Sengun is in, they may possibly cover this 5.5. Maybe. Again, maybe. Because all these games, Jalen Johnson was playing, Kongu was in, Porzingis was still out. So with those two in, I really do feel more comfortable taking the plus. Now I don't. Let me see. Maybe a under. So they believe this is going to go over at they believe it's going to hit the 109 tonight, but this is plus value here. So 105. Let me see what it's going against. It says a -120. Let's really see. Let's see. So it'll be 114. So it's a 105 against a 114. So the books believe it's still going to hit the 109 tonight. They're 1-1 against each other. But this was last year. Atlanta's been mostly going under. Houston's 50-50. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Let me look at this team. This is how I figure out if I want to even attempt. Maybe I fade. Again, maybe I do fade. Let me see. What are you doing without Jalen Johnson? Still going over. right? But let's take a Kongu out too. Still went over, but this was last year. This is the best spot. Do I fade them? They're 2 and 3 in the last 5. Let me look at them. Still 2 and 3. Again, without Jalen Johnson. These are all at home. On the season, though, they're 2 and 1 to the under. Huh. I'm kind of curious. They're allowing, again, you're fading 109. They're allowing 110, 111. Let's look at them at home, on the road. 1-0, 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, 2 and 3, 2 and 4. So 3 and 4 in the last 7 road games. Houston is like barely allowing a team to score above their team total points. But again, they're still scoring, specifically at home. Just in general, even just a lot, just on the season at home, they're 2 and 1 to the under. More recently, Houston couldn't stop San Antonio, but it was like a just a spot. But technically, in the last 5, 1, 2, 3 and 2 to stopping a team from scoring the team total points, right? Maybe we consider like who's really. So Alexander, I would see him scoring, and Daniels, CJ. You know what? I'm gonna say screw it. I'm gonna take the chance. I'm gonna fade Atlanta tonight. I'm gonna take the chance. Like, again, who else is gonna? They got Daniels. They got Alexander. Is Kispert really? Is he really gonna? Let me see what they're gonna need him to score more than 8 points tonight. He has to. Maybe you take Kispert for 12 points tonight, because maybe you take him for 15 tonight. Maybe he actually gets 15 tonight. It's plus 220, right? Plus 185, plus 175, so 85 for the 15. Maybe he gets the 15. What are they doing against the position? They're allowing 20. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got the. So if you feel like Kispert can get even 13, take him for the plus 110 for the 13 tonight. If you feel like he can get the okay. If you feel like he can get, he got 23 on the last year on the 7th, same month. Again, they allowed 20 to the position. Maybe I take that. Maybe I take Kispert for 13 points tonight. But he has to actually produce, though. That's the thing. Again, I'm just chalking it up to who else can actually score for the Hawks tonight. But I'm going to fade them. I'm just going to stop talking and put this in so I can share this slip on my Discord so you can see it live. All right. So Atlanta, team total points. I'm going to take the chance. I'm going to go on ahead. So it's no longer, let me see. Let me just double check and make sure. It still might be 108. It looks like it's 109. I mean, it looks like it's no longer 109. It looks like it's 110 to the under. Let me just double check. So it is 109. So let's do that because it's a minus 105 on FanDuel, like it was showing here on my monitor here per outlier here. So I'm gonna fade them. Let's do it. Let's get it. Let's do it. FanDuel. Let's take the under. Bang. Screenshot. Let's again, as always, let's hope for the best. Try not to stress, you know. It's almost 6:30. This is, to me, it's good timing. And Hawks. Team total under. Bang. Bang. There it goes. Post it. It's in. Hawks team total points under. Minus 105. Let's get it. Let me send this here. I forgot to send this to my crew over at Top Sports Debate. Team total under. And I'm sending this to ourwap.com. Did I share? Yeah, I was going to say, did I share that Embiid joint? I thought I did. All right, we continue. Next up, Heat versus Bulls. What are we going to get from this game, son? Tonight. Bulls come off of that very, very strange and interesting loss to the Pacers last night. Like, they were winning. I'm like, okay, they're going to cover the spread, blah, blah, blah. They covered the first half spread. They were winning. All of that. And it was like the last, 5, 3, 2 minutes left in the game. Because I remember I was at least watching the ticker on the clock and stuff like that on my phone. And I'm sitting there like, dog, like, what's going on? Like, they're coming back. Pacers are coming back. And I'm like, I hope there's no overtime because I needed the Pacers to go under the team total points at the 118. And eventually it did go under. It's just like, but they pulled out the win in the last couple of minutes of the game. What can you do? Miami 2.5 are favored. The spread is 238.5. Let's look at this. So Bulls is a positive for them. Once again, just like last night, it was a positive for them to cover the 1.5 last night. They did not cover. Pacers covered. Congratulations to them. But now they are no longer 23-22 and 2. They're now 23-23 and 2 to covering the spread. But at home, they're 14-11. No longer 14-10, but 14-11-1. As underdogs, though, which they are, they're 18-8. As home underdogs, they're 9-3 to cover the spread. Heat are 27-21-1. Also, the Heat are also 14-11-1 on the road, though, instead of at home. And they're just above 500 as favorites, 12-11. And as road favorites, they are 4-3 in the last 7 road games. There's that information. Again, the lean, as you see, is more siding with the Bulls. They just came off of this loss, right? So what happens with them after a loss? Will they cover tonight against the Miami Heat, who are 3-2 to covering the last 5? Technically, the Bulls are as well, but they lost. They did not cover back to back. Again, heartbreaking because it looked like they were going to cover last night. Do they flip the script and cover the plus 2.5 tonight against the Miami Heat, who are without, once again, Tyler Hero's not in. Davion Mitchell is out officially once again. But Ware is back, but it looks like he's coming off the bench. And then they got whatever else, Larson. They got the young buck here. He didn't do too much last night from what I could tell. So there's that. But they still got their squad. Giddey. Whoa. Giddey's out now. Whoa. He's not playing now. And Trey Jones is out now. So this may be something of an interesting spot. The question becomes, can the Bulls cover tonight against Miami? So let's look at the over-under. Overall, in their spots, Miami on the road, Bulls at home. Let's look at it. So the Bulls' overall record are 21-27, so the under's hitting more. At home, they're 10-16, under more. As underdogs, they're 12-14, so again, under. And then as away dogs, as home dogs, they're 5-7. So a lot of unders when it's pertaining to the Bulls. The Miami Heat They are 25 and 24, more so just a little bit to the over, but they're even on the road 13 to 13. But as favorites, they're 10 and 13, and as away favorites, they are 3 and 4. So do this information what you will. Do you consider taking the under? There's EV to the over. Again, Giddey's not out there. Trey Jones is not out there. That's extra points for the Bulls. Bulls still aren't playing too good of a defense, but their unders are hitting more, while the overs are hitting more for Miami. Do you consider doing? Let's look at the actual matchup here. They've played more games, right? They played 6 games. Huh. That's strange. Oh, okay, never mind. So they were supposed to play on this month on January 8th. They were getting ready to play, and remember that game got postponed. So that was that Sunday night game, Saturday night game, or something like that. I remember. So they played 5 games. So this is about the Bulls and the Heat. Bulls hosting the Heat last 5 recent games. This is it. The under hit in the first game, November 20th of 2023. Heat won 118 to 100. On February 4th of 2025, last season, the Bulls won 133 to 124. And then on April 9th of 2025, again last season, the Bulls won 119 to 111. And then 7 days later, April 16th of 2025, the Heat won 109 to 90. And then on November 21st of this year, the Heat won 143 to 107. I remember that game. I was watching that game. They were terrorizing the Bulls that night. So the over hit 3 out of the 5 matchups. So the question becomes, is this 239 going to cash? And when it's pertaining to the actual matchup, when it's pertaining to the spread, the Heat covered 1, Bulls covered 1, Bulls covered 2, Heat covered 2 and 2. So Miami's 3 and 2 to covering the spread, and more importantly, the 2.5. So maybe the Bulls still cover tonight. Maybe. It just depends what's going to happen. White's supposedly going to be the starting point guard. We'll see what happens tonight. Maybe I take the under. Maybe. We shall see. All right. Next up, because I haven't really found too much of anything else for that one. What? Oh, says the Eagles hired Sean Mannion. So Packers. Oh, okay. So he's their new offensive coordinator. Okay. Got this notification on my phone. I'm like, huh? Nani? All right, bet. Charlotte Hornets at Dallas. Dallas played last night. They lost. They couldn't cover. I might take Charlotte tonight. Now, is Cooper playing? He is officially back. Brandon Miller. He's in. Okay. Dallas. They're still down other players. The over under is 226. The spread is 3.5. There's EV to the Charlotte Hornets to cover. Charlotte is still balling out. They blew out the last game. They blew out Memphis. Well, technically it was Philly. They blew out Philly, but they still covered against my Memphis Grizzlies last night. We just didn't have it in this last night. I thought that we were going to do a little bit better, but it is what it is. It's okay. Just accept the loss for what it is, and we move on. This is what it says. Again, still more stuff towards the a little bit, at least a little bit, when it's pertaining to the spread here. But it's looking maybe Dallas covers. Let's see. Dallas is 22-25-1 covering the spread. They're 15-12 at home specifically. 17-14-1 as underdogs, and as home underdogs, they were 11-6. They were 11-5 from last night. Now they're 11-6 because they did not cover last night as home dogs. The Hornets are 28-19-1 overall covering, 16-10 on the road, but as favorites, they're just a little bit above 500 at 6-5, and a little bit above 500 as away favorites with 3-2 as their road record as favorites. So it does seem like the Bulls have a little bit of favor when it's pertaining to the actual spot as underdogs, as home dogs, compared to the Hornets when they're in this spot on the road as favorites. It's not looking too well, right? Just a little bit. But in the last 14 games, let's look at this information when it's pertaining to the spread. Dallas are an even 7-7 to covering in the last 14 games. At home, 5-4. As underdogs, 4-4. And as home dogs, 2-3. So they're not covering that greatly in the last 14 games. While the Hornets, though, are, as currently in the last 14 games, they're 9-5 to covering, 7-2 on the road, 4-2 as favorites, and in the last 3 road games as favorites, 3-0. The question becomes, will they cover tonight for a 4th straight game on the road as favorites? That's the question. The total over-under, this is what it says. The Mavericks are 20-28, so the under is hitting more. At home, they're 12-15. As dogs, they're 15-17. But as home underdogs, they're 8-9. So again, the under is still hitting. It's a little bit closer to the over, just a little bit, but it's still hitting more. The Hornets, this is their record though. They're 19-29, so the under is hitting with them. 11-15 on the road, 5-6 as favorites, and then in the last 5 away games as favorites, 2-3. But as pertaining to the over/under in the last 14 games, this is what it says here. Dallas are 4-10, at home 4-5, as underdogs 1-7, and as home dogs 1-4. So the unders are hitting for them. Hornets are 5-9 in the last 14 games, more so to the under. 4-5, one game more so to the under on the road. 2-4 as favorites, and then 1-2 as away favorites. Again, this is 227. Cooper Flag is back. They only scored 105 last night. Kind of feel like they can still get around 110-ish, right? So let's see. They're actually giving them above 110. They're giving them 113 tonight. Let's look at the head-to-head. They did this, but that's that information for them at home and on the road. But let's actually look at this spot here, right? Let's look at them specifically at home in the last 10 games. They are averaging 119, but they're at a 50% clip. In the last 5, they're 3-2 to the over. Now, with Cooper Flag in, where are you, sir? Young man. This is what they're averaging. In the last 10 at home, they're averaging 116. But in the last 5, they're averaging 113. But they're doing every other game to going over and under. You're looking for 113. Let's look at Charlotte on the road. Let's look at this. Are they allowing teams to score 113 points on them on the road? Let's look at this. 1-0, 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, 2-3, 3-3, 4-3, 4-4, 4-5, 4-6 in the last 10 road games. So they are not allowing teams to score on them that much. It's still close, but it's more to the under. So do you consider doing this? Let's see. They face off against each other 3 times at Dallas. And if you decided to take Dallas for their team total points over, they only did it 1 time. They scored 109 on March 24th of 2023. 109. They lost 117 and 109. But then they won on November 5th of 2023. Just pretty much last season, 124 to 118. They did score 124 points. Hornets scored 118 though, in the overhit. Again, this is 226 and a half. So pretty much that's the overhit only twice. And then last year on February 27th, pretty much next to the last day of the month, they won 103 to 96 in a very close game. But again, this is a different season. Charlotte are running at a fast pace. I think LaMelo's playing tonight. That's what I believe personally. Well, should I say, I think he's going to be starting tonight. So I just feel like they should, possibly, maybe Dallas might still score this 112. They might. They're averaging 118. They've only gone down twice in the last several games. It's up to you. Do you take this? Do you don't? That's the question I had. But we'll see. When it's pertaining to the spread, though, it's still more so leaning towards Hornets covering tonight. It's just, and on top of that, they're still out players. So Lively's out for the year. Najee's resting. That's not good. They need him. While the Hornets, the only player that's really out is Grant Williams as of 5 hours ago. Oh, and Simpson. So, and Brandon's playing. So, I feel like Charlotte would cover tonight again for a fifth straight game. Even though Dallas plays better at home, I still feel like Charlotte will cover this 3. And see, it opened up at 4.5. No, 3.5. So it changed to 4.5. So I'm actually liking this 3.5 a little bit better too. Just being honest. Excuse me. Again, with your boy out too. They got Sexton coming off the court, coming off the bench, and whatever else they have. I kind of feel like Charlotte could cover this 3.5. Just being honest, they in the three games at Dallas, they are 1-2 though against Dallas though. That's the only other thing. So Dallas is 2-1 to covering. So there's that. Maybe Knuppel actually, because he's actually been down. Is this still 3? Let me see. So his assists are 4. It's a plus 100. What are they allowing to the position? 4. Maybe. Let me look at him at home. On the road. He's still getting 4. So averaging 3.8. Maybe I take him for 4. It's a plus value. He's on the road. The books currently believe he's going to go under, though. That's the thing. It's a high plus 114. There's no data for him against the Mavericks. He's really been up more than anything. He has had three straight, twice to getting the 4. Let me take this live bet. Not this live bet. Let me take this because I might still take Hornets to cover this this 4 here. I just might. But really being honest, it's Knuppel. He likes to pass the ball. It's a plus 114. Let's try it out. Let's see if he gets this 4, dog. I want to see. I'm gonna take it. So it's a plus 114. It's a risky bet because he may get it, he may not. If he gets it, great. If he doesn't, if he say lands on 3 and he ends with 3, that's fine. At least he was right there to getting it. I would rather take that, you know. But let's see what happens tonight. And let's hope for the best. Let's go Knuckle. Assist. Whoops. Hold on. Let me delete. I forgot to share the actual slip. And I'm doing this live here. Bang. Bang. There it is. Knuckle assist. Let's see if he gets it. All right. Because he has, I think, in back-to-back games, he's been like down points wise. Like he hasn't been, like I'm saying, like he hasn't been himself. Knuckle assists. So let's see. Let's see if he actually gets it. So my Thunder. So like I said, I've mentioned my joint. My Thunder. The only other thing that I can think to do for this game, because I mentioned it earlier, is for not. Is it you for? Yeah, for him for assists at 4. Is it still plus 120? So it actually went up to a plus 133 for him to get 5 assists tonight. So as you see here, Anthony Edwards is averaging against my Thunder. He is averaging 5 against us. Now let's look at what he does against us at home. He's averaging 6 against us. He had 1 down spot, and that was here at home. Again, this was at home. This was on the year, so he's 0-1 against us on the season. Last year, he was pretty much getting his stuff. Gobert is still Q-Tag. Minnesota, Conley's not in. This is my OKC Thunder. This is us and our defense and what we do defensive-wise. This is a risky bet, right? Now it's a plus 150 on Novik. So if I go on DraftKings, I don't think I may not have any funds on DraftKings now because I used up. Like I even poured some money over there because I thought that Bazula was going to get 10 rebounds last night to give me back, turn $5 into 75. I was like, it was close. You know, he was just 2 rebounds off. Yeah, see, I have $2 over here. So I'm probably just gonna put this on BetMGM because I have extra funds over there. I'd rather do it over there and maybe save my $2. I do get paid tomorrow, but most of that money is going to pay my rent. That's due on Monday next week. Or no, Sunday. Well, technically it'll be Monday. Let's see. Bonus pertaining to the matchup itself. Again, the spread is 6.5. The over under total is 228.5. There's some positive for just a little bit of a positive for the over for the Timberwolves more than anything, just a little bit. But when it's pertaining to the Timberwolves covering the spread, they're 21 and 28. So they're not covering that good at home. They're not covering that well. 10 and 15. They're even 5-5 as dogs, and then they're 1-2 in the last 3 home games as underdogs. My Thunder are 23 and 25. So we were covering, but this was early in the year. Things have shifted. Things have changed due to injury and stuff like that. So we're even at on the road, 11 and 11. We're 23 and 25 as favorites, and we're even as away favorites, 11 and 11 as well. So there's that. the total, again, when it's pertaining to the total, this is what it says. The Timberwolves are 21-28 overall, 6-19 at home. So the under's hitting more. But as underdogs, they're 6-4. That's a positive, right? The over-unders hit in the last 3 home games as underdogs. The under has hit 2 in the last 3, so the 1-2 to the over-under for that. While my Thunder are even 24-24, even on the road 11-11, even as favorites 24-24, and as away favorites even 11-11. So do with this information what you will. Currently, let's look at the actual matchup here. In the last 5 games that we played, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So when it's pertaining to the actual matchup, though, the over has hit 3 of the last 5 matchups. Again, Timberwolves at home. The under hit in the first game, February 13th of 2025. This was all technically last year, though. Timberwolves won 116-101. 10 days later, February 23rd of 2025, my Thunder won 130-123, so the over hit. On the May 24th of 2025, the Timberwolves beat us 143-101. And then 2 days later, the Timberwolves beat us 126-120. We won 128-126. The over hit again, so back to back, right? And then last year, on December 19th of 2025, which is technically this year, Timberwolves beat us 112-107. The under hit. Do you consider taking us to cover this 6.5 when we are we are 0-1, 0-2, excuse me, 0-1, 1-1, 1-2, 2-2, 2-3. So we're 2-3 to covering a 6.5, just covering the spread in general. The over has hit 3 of the 5 matchups that we played at Minnesota. We specifically scored above 120 2 times, 130 and 128. So that's the question. But Timberwolves have only scored above 120 against us. Well, they scored 3 times against us, 123, 143, and 126. So do you consider taking the Timberwolves for the team total points here, which is 112? Again, as you see here, against us, they're averaging 113, right? Head to head. So let's look at what they're averaging at home against us. They're averaging 124 against us. Look at all what they've done against us, just in general, at home. So maybe you do take Minnesota to get 112 tonight, but you got to consider that, again, Conley, who doesn't really score that much. Gobert sometimes scores 10 points or higher, sometimes not that much, and whatever else that you're getting from their bench compared to what we don't have on our bench and still what our defense is doing. Let's look at what we've done on the road in the last several road games. We are, if you're deciding to take the Timberwolves to score 112, we are 0-1, 1-1, 1-2, 2-2, 2-3, 2-4. So in the last 6 road games, we are 2-4 to stopping the team from scoring. Excuse me, technically 4-2 to stopping a team from scoring the 112. But again, Minnesota does have our number. Do they score 112 tonight? Kind of feeling kind of confident that they will. But, we'll see, because this is a different OKC team. Even just from, almost, well, technically even from last month compared to this month, where we stopped them from scoring. We had them hit 112 in the last matchup on the nose, and they stopped us from scoring. What is our team total points? They stopped us from scoring they got us sitting at 118. That's real high, in my opinion, just being honest. When we did this 3 straight games, we did this 3 and then we did, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Let's look at this away. We're still averaging 119. I can understand why we're 118. 3 straight games on the road, 120 or higher. We came close here. We were one point off, so it'll be probably 120 even. Again, against Minnesota, we are 2 games where we scored the 120 or higher, 118 or higher in 2 matchups. What can you do? Maybe. Again, maybe. Maybe. Maybe we take the chance. But Gobert has to be in. If he's in, I think this will go up. Now, they scored 110. They're averaging 110 in the last 5 though. And at home they're 1-2 to the over. That's the only thing. 2-2 in the last 5 home games. 50%. I don't know. Like I said, possible look for Anthony Edwards for 5 assists tonight. Let me see. Let's say with Gobert. Let's say Gobert plays. He's still not getting 5. Even at home, he's still not getting 5. So, we'll see. It's up to y'all. Whatever y'all want to do. But that's pretty much it. I'm pretty much good on mostly everything else. Don't really need to touch on anything else. So, we'll see what happens. But tomorrow, I'll be back in the evening. Roughly around the same time, a little bit earlier. To go over the few of the games for. And I'll probably look at something for tonight. But it has to be later. In about like an hour and a half, I'll look to see if anything opened up. Now we do have. So this is the game. I think I'm gonna look at this game. I think I'm gonna do a video for this game in the next 10-15 minutes for this Portland. I kind of feel like I'm gonna cap this game here. We'll see. But that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for listening to me ramble for the last, if you watched this entire stream. But I'm out. Y'all stay safe, stay humble, stay warm. Let's hope for the best for tonight. Hopefully you all cash and cover tonight. But I'm out. Holla later, guys. Peace.